Okay, welcome to JBL Life. Here we usually review JBL products, but today we're going to find out what drum and cymbal frequencies are. Because, as I stated in my intro video, being a drummer really got me started being an audiophile because I want to hear the kick, toms, snare, and cymbals all in the music, and that takes a really dynamic speaker to reproduce all that. Okay, a couple things real quick. First, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, I'd love for you to subscribe as we look at all kinds of JBL products and review interesting points related to listening to music like this video. Second, if you happen to be a drummer, you're not going to like the way my drums sound, I'm sure. These are practice drums, not the ones I play live usually, and so the heads on them are old and they're not tuned very well, so just please forgive me for that, but that'll work for these purposes. Also, if you're a drummer in care, this is a Yamaha Stage Custom Nouveau kit. So the one-piece Nouveau lugs and a steel Pearle snare drum and mostly Zildjian cymbals. All right, let's get started. We're going to go from low to high. So we'll start here with the kick drum, 22x17 kick. The mic is inside the drum. I didn't have a stand for it. And there we are at 40 hertz. So if you want a punchy kick, you want to bump up that 40 hertz region. That's enough, stop kicking. Okay. Now we'll go to this 16x16 floor tom. Now you see this comes in a little bit lower at 34, I'm guessing because there's no deadening in it really, like the bass drum has. But still pretty low, so 34 up to around 100 with resonance. So below 100, that floor tom's where you want to pick that up. Next, let's move up to the 14x14 tom. Okay, no muffling on that, but you see that hits there at 67 hertz, so about 30 hertz higher than that floor tom. All right, Wheezy, let's move on up to the 12-inch tom. Alright, you'll see I didn't hit the point there correctly, but it's about 100 hertz, a little over 100 hertz is where that 12-inch tom's hitting. Okay, last we'll do this 10-inch tom. I usually don't have this on the set, but I do have it, so we'll see what it comes in with the frequency. Okay, and we see this one comes in at 114 hertz, so a little bit higher than the 12-inch. So you see that all these toms come in between, about 35 and 115 hertz. All right, the last drum is going to be the snare drum. This is the one I was kind of most interested in. I thought it was going to be around 1,000 K actually. So I was curious about where that pop comes in. Let's see. So this is pretty interesting. Little peak there around 97 hertz. That's because it's probably the size of this drum. Remember, it's a 14-inch. Shallow, so, and then look at that peak up at 4,000 hertz. I'm guessing that's the snares, or maybe the ring. I know there's a lot of ring in this snare. I kind of like that, but snares just got a lot in it over the frequency range. Okay, now let's move up to the cymbals. Where do you think they're going to be? 20K? We'll see. Here's the hi-hat first, and we'll do an open. Oh, there it is. So pretty good graph right there between 11 and 14,000 hertz is where the hi-hat is. Next we'll try this 8-inch Sabian Splash. Interesting, right there between 7,000 and 11,000 hertz. I just thought that would be higher. Okay, let's get to the real cymbals. This is a Zildjian 17-inch AA crash. Okay, this surprised me. I thought this would be a lot higher. You're looking at 5,000 to 7,000 hertz. Wow. All right, next we'll go to 18-inch Zildjian K crash. This is a dark crash. And you see it there between 7,000 and 10,000, similar, just a different sound and tone. All right, and now an A Custom Zildjian Ride cymbal. And we have a winner as far as the highest frequency on the drum set. And this is the ride cymbal at 13 to 15,000 hertz. Okay, as a bonus, we'll look at a couple percussion instruments that I had laying around. First, if you're a Twisted Sister fan, let's do the cowbell. All right, that's there around 600 hertz. I was a little surprised. I thought they'd be a little higher. But let's now go to the tambourine as our last instrument. I think Duran Duran's Come Undone chorus for this. All right, there we are. Looks like it's peaking around 13 to 14,000 hertz. Okay, just to wrap these up, what I think is interesting, kind of where the toms are, that you think about, that's where your sub may cross over with your tower speakers if you have that set up. So from 30 to 100 hertz, you may have your sub crossover at 80, but you'll have to play around with that. Also, the snare could be in that tweeter handoff between your woofer and tweeter, which is usually around 2,000 hertz, in that range. So, you know, if the snare's got some lot going on, but 4,000, that's gonna be up in the tweeter. So something to look at there. And also the cymbals. You know, we think it's important for our speakers to go up to 20,000, and really a lot of the cymbals are down around 10,000. You know, the Ride was the most at 16,000, 15,000. So just kind of shocking that a lot of that's not up in the high teens even. So I hope this has been interesting to you guys and maybe helpful. It's been fun for me to see what it's like. So again, would love for you to subscribe to this channel. We're gonna do some fun things like this and review speakers and amps and so forth. So so we'll leave it right there, and I'll sign off as I always do with the golden rule: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and also love your neighbor as yourself. JBL Life out.